I will call to order this regular meeting of the Board of Public Works, May 25th, 2021. First up, we have messages from board members. Do we have any messages from the board tonight?
I do. I just wanted to say to all the crews that are out working in this heat, be sure to stay well hydrated, and thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Beth. Next up, we have petitions and remonstrances. First up, we have appeal notice of violation numbers 48032 and 48148 for excessive growth at 2611 East Round Hill Lane.
Yes, hello, this is Daniel Dixon, City of Bloomington Legal Department. This is an appeal of 2 trash tickets for Mr. Alex Gohl, 2611 East Round Hill Lane. I don't know if he is present tonight. Adam, do you see him here?
Sorry, I don't see him by name. I'm not sure. We have one phone number, a 360 number. That may be Mr. Gohl. I'm not positive, but and just to clarify, Daniel, you said trash.
I'm sorry, that's the
violations.
This is overgrowth.
Yep. So, Mr. Gohl, are you on the meeting this evening? I don't believe we have Mr. Gohl.
That
Adam,
does not look like his number.
What's that?
That does not match the number that is on the appeal.
Okay, great.
The 360.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Adam, given that, I would go ahead and ask Joe Stong, Neighborhood Compliance Officer, just to briefly go into some detail about the background on the notices of violation that are being appealed.
So I'm Joe Stong. I'm Neighborhood Compliance Officer for that area that includes 2611 East Round Hill Lane. I issued a notice of violation on April 30th. The turf grass was over 8 inches tall. I issued a second violation on May the 10th. The grass was still not in compliance, and there were other weeds and things on the property that were out of compliance. I got no response, and so I went ahead and marked it for abatement, and it's before you now. We were asking for permission to enter the property to abate the violations.
And I think that's coming up later on the abatement. I'll have some more probably questions for you on that, but that's all I had for you on the notices of violation. I did want to point out to the board, the photographs of the violations are actually with the abatement packet. They appear on pages 19 and then 21 through 23 of the packet that show the turf grass in excess of 8 inches. So that being said, the turf grass being in excess of 8 inches would be in violation of Bloomington Municipal Code for excessive growth. The notices of violation were properly issued and would ask the board uphold those. And thank you, Adam. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions from the board on these 2 appeals in front of us?
No, I don't have a question.
Okay. Do we have a motion? Or I'm sorry, actually, I want to call for public comment first. Is there any public comment on this item?
Again, I would make a call. I don't see Mr. Gohl on the call anywhere or any other phone numbers on the call. So I don't see anything in the chat or any raised hand function. Dana?
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion?
I move that we deny the appeal of violation number 48032 and 48148 for excessive growth at 2611 East Round Hill Lane.
And I second.
And I will call for a vote. Kyla Cox Deckard.
Yes.
Beth Hollingsworth.
Yes.
And Dana Palazzo votes yes. Motion passes. Next up, we have the appeal of the notice of violation number 48158 for trash at 2440 South Henderson Street.
Yeah, hi, this is Daniel Dixon again, Legal Department. Do we have the appellant here tonight?
I'm Russ Bonanno, the owner of the building.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm John Wilson. I'm the property manager here. We're both here.
Okay. Adam, I would defer to the appellants this time, just to present any kind of evidence or statements they would wish to give the board.
I'd like to ask Jay to go first, and then I'll follow up.
Okay. We had received a warning about are we doing the trash or the lawn care? Are we doing both at the same time or? Hello?
Right now, this is the appeal for the trash violation.
The trash. Okay. Hi. So with the trash, on the February 23rd, we added 2 extra days of service for our trash in response to the large amount of trash that was accumulating here on property. That gave us full Monday through Friday service. We had only had 3 days service before that. We were unable to secure any weekend trash pickup. Our trash comes between 1 and 3. So we got the notice at about 8 or 9 in the morning, I believe. The timestamp should be on that, but we got it in the morning. Our trash service comes between 1 and 3. So it was basically the weekend accumulation, which we understand is large. They came between 1 and 3, picked it all up. It was completely clean after that. So it was just a matter of timing with the trash. I mean, I can't secure any service on the weekend. We are talking in the future about adding a second dumpster to property to address any extra trash. But I just wanted to show that we are attempting to address it with the best of our means possible at the time. And Russ, I'll let you go ahead and chime in.
And I just wanted to ensure that the board was aware of the fact this is a permanent supportive housing project. And as a result of our attempts to maintain compliance and keep the project in good order, the trash pickup was increased from 3 days a week to 5 days a week. The trash company does not offer pickup on weekends, and they determine the time of day that they come. We have no control over those pieces. We are looking into being able to bring a second dumpster in, or a larger dumpster. But to do that, we have to find a way to create level ground without taking parking spaces because of the minimum parking requirements for a multi-residence building. So I just want to make you all aware, we are making every effort to respond to this. But with trash contractors unwilling to do pickups on weekends, we don't have much option on Monday morning.
I would, I would defer to board questions before I would have Kenneth Lyford talk.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
I know, this is Beth Hollingsworth. I know that they're making attempts this time. I would like to know how many other times they have been out of compliance. I understand that this is not the first time. Daniel, do you have
If you want, I could go ahead and have Kenneth talk and have him go through kind of his involvement with the property, if that may make more sense, I think, at
would
this
be
time.
helpful, yes.
Please.
Yeah, this is Kenny Lyford. I'm the compliance officer for that section of Bloomington. And basically this property, and I don't have, I'm not at work, I'm at home, so I don't have all my dates in front of me. But the property is always in non-compliance. If every day that I go by there, I could write a trash ticket by code to that property. I've explained to them that it's not just the dumpster area, it's the entire property itself. It's around the buildings, it's the woods that they also have that is connected to Crawford 1 and Crawford 2. There is trash strung around this property every day of the week. And by code, I could write them a trash ticket. And I've spoken with people on the phone. I've spoken with, I know him as Jay, it's John on here. And I hear a lot that they're going to, get this done and get that done, but nothing ever happens. It is the number one spot for me in my neighborhood that I have problems with as far as non-compliance, and it could be written daily, trash tickets daily down there. So I appreciate that they're trying. I appreciate they're making efforts, but I can't in good faith go around that area of the city and write tickets for trash and ignore this property.
And Kenny, did you take some photos?
Yeah, they are. They should be in the file in there.
They may not be, but if it's all right, could I share my screen? I've got the photographs here.
And I'm not going to deny that there is trash there every day. That is accurate. I would also bring to the board's attention that we have called the police on multiple occasions regarding non-residents in the woods. And the response we've received from the police on every call is that they cannot do anything. In fact, on the last call, they informed property management to refer the issue to the Department of Natural Resources, saying they could not go into the woods because it was not within the city. Now, I disagree with what they've said, but that is the response of the police. It's not that the trash is there 7 days a week. The issue is that the trash gets there overnight, 7 nights a week.
I'm unable to share my screen, but it doesn't sound like that is an issue in dispute. So I'll leave it there.
Kenneth, that was very helpful to me to have an update on this ongoing problem. Thank you.
Any other questions from the board on this item? Okay.
Dana, I guess I do have a question. When, I'm curious this is Adam Wason, Public Works Director, and I wanted to ask the question. I'm curious when you say you can't get service on the weekends. We have services and, the restaurants are serviced on the weekends. I'm just curious is it a specific vendor that won't offer weekend service or?
We use Republic, and when we were looking to add days, the only thing they could offer us was the extra 2 to give us the full Monday through Friday. That was all I could get offered. And I have a quote for that. We ended up adding the maximum we could, which was the extra 2 to give us 5.
Okay, because I know they do Saturday, Sunday pickup throughout the rest of the city.
Well, I mean, I'm willing to work with the city. I mean, obviously, I want to work together to solve this issue. I just, if it means switching vendors, I mean, that's something I'm willing to look into. If you're saying 7 days a week might help.
No, I'm not suggesting one way or the other, Mr. Wilson.
Okay.
I was just curious because I mean, we have vendors that provide that weekend service, and I was just curious why that wasn't available to you.
We have a large number of vendors within the city of Bloomington who will not do work in the project. As an example, we had been attempting to get a vendor to come in and mow the lawn, and the one local vendor that agreed to do it wanted $10,000 cash before he mowed the lawn for the first time.
Yeah, that would have been, he wanted payment for the entire season up front. Yeah.
So it's not that we're not attempting. It's that there is a limit to realistically what we are capable of doing while we continue to house a number of the homeless that the city does not want in Seminary Park.
Well,
All righty. Do we have a motion on this item?
I move that we deny the appeal of violation 48158 for trash at 2440 South Henderson Street.
And I second.
Okay, I'll call for a vote. Kyla Cox Deckard,
Yes.
Beth Hollingsworth,
Yes.
and Dana Plaza votes yes. Motion passes. Next up, we have the appeal of the notice of violation 48-159 for excessive growth at 2440 South Henderson.
Thank you. And I will, again, I will defer to the appellants for any other information and evidence they'd want to provide on the overgrowth ticket.
We finally did get a vendor Life Designs, which I'm the CEO, put pressure on our vendor to go and cut the lawn there, and it was cut for $50 as opposed to the $10,000 that the other vendor wanted.
Yeah, and that was, we got a warning on that, and then the very next day after getting the warning, I believe my boss contacted Russ about helping us find someone, because we had called, it was at least 12 different lawn care places, and they just would not come out here. I mean, we were not able to secure anyone. Luckily, Russ here was able to get his vendor to do it, but it was in reaction to the original warning. We had it scheduled already, then we got a fine, but it was, the lawn care was scheduled as soon as possible. So I don't think there was anything else we could have done in that situation in that short amount of time.
Do you have lawn care secured for the rest of the season?
Yes, it's Wolf's Lawn Care, and yeah, they've done it every week since then, so.
Thank you. Any other comments, Daniel? Or?
I guess just if there's anything else Kenny wants to add on the overgrowth, I would like to have an opportunity for him to provide any other information on that.
Yes, the reason they were issued a fine, one of the times that I was on the property and I was speaking with Jay about trash in the dumpster area and things like that, I also mentioned that their grass was really tall. It was kind of early in the season, if I remember right. And I said, you know what, you guys, and he explained to me then they were having a hard time finding someone to mow the grass. Well, after that conversation, I really gave them more time than I would give a resident who had grass that tall. So then I issued a warning. Well, it was at least a week probably after the warning that I went back and issued the citation with a fine, because it still wasn't cut. It has been cut. There's still parts of it that are still exceed 8 inches in length. I'm good if they keep it up. I'm good with that. But again, you know, it was talked about and the warning, and then that's why the fine was issued.
And I think, as Jay mentioned, he had been making calls, attempting to get contractors following the discussions he had with the compliance officer. When the warning was received, that's when I had my agency put pressure on our contractor to go and do it. And that contractor then scheduled it for his first open time, which happened to be after the day that the compliance officer went back. But that's secured for weekly service at this point.
And are you able to let the lawn care vendor know that there are areas that they're missing that are still?
Yes,
that they're
I'm
not getting
expecting
anything
here.
yet?
I'm expecting them here Thursday, so I will let them know that there's areas that are not acceptable. Yep.
Okay, great. Any other questions from the board at this time?
I'll jump in with a quick, Kenny, did I hear you that you would be comfortable knowing they have a contract for the rest of the year, that you would be comfortable with this fine, with this appeal being upheld?
Well, it's, you know, I'm indifferent to the fine. I'm just going by the code. It's, you know,
Yep.
I've told Jay, this isn't anything personal. I have a
Yep.
job to do, and what the board does is what the board does. It's, I'm
Yep, no, I appreciate that.
I'm with it.
I appreciate that. You know, I think given the circumstances, you know, that we've got, you know, they've been able to obtain the contract and have the, you know, got the vendor on board. If Daniel and others, I think I would make the suggestion that we do uphold, or that we grant the appeal on this one, that we work to really maintain the trash area as best we can. You know, Kenny, I'd like to also schedule a time to go out there with you and look at this wooded area and see what we've got going on there, where that actually exists.
We might want a resource officer or a policeman to go with us in there.
That's fine. Yeah, I even just pointed out where we're talking about exactly. But so I think I could be supportive of that as long as Daniel and Kenny are, given that they have secured the contract for the mowing for the rest of the year.
Well, I appreciate that. If you guys come to property, I'd love to have you down here, show you around. I mean, I'm up for
Yep.
suggestions on things. I mean, I want to work together to solve these issues.
I appreciate that, Jay. Yeah, actually, Jay, I'd like to take that opportunity to get down there myself. And so I'll reach out through, I think I've got your email and such through the packet.
Yes.
But yeah, I think I could be comfortable with that board as long as you would be as well.
Yeah, I think that feels fine to me too. I think, if we get those areas too cleaned up where they're maybe still out of compliance, and you already said that you'd speak to the vendor, so that sounds good to me. Any other questions or comments from the board? Any other public comment on this item? I don't see any in the chat. Do we have a motion?
Based on the information we've just gotten, I move that we uphold the appeal for the violation number 48159 for excessive growth at 2440 South Henderson Street.
And I second.
I'll call for a vote. Kyla Cox Deckard,
Yes.
Beth Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Dana Plaza votes yes, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, is there anything that is?
Hey, Dana, if I may right now,
Adam?
please.
Yep,
So it looks like we had a note in the chat that that Pete Kinney says that he has Alex Goal on to participate via his MacBook at this time. Given full transparency and the history with property, I would make a suggestion that we go back to, even though the board had taken official motion, I wish I had Robert's rules in front of me, but I think we should just go back to the first agenda item, knowing that Mr. Goal is now able to join the meeting, and that would be the appeal, excuse me, appeal of notice of violation for number 48032 and 48148. Mr. Kinney, Mr. Gold, the board did take action to deny the appeals. At this point in time, I would, Daniel, maybe help me here, or Jackie, can we just at least open it up for public comment to Mr. Gold at this time? And then if anything so sways the board, they could take action, retake the action as necessary.
I would defer to Jackie if she's available on the particular rules for the Board of Public Works, but it sounds like it may be sort of a public comment and then a possible motion to reconsider a board ruling if the rules provide for that. I'm not sure. I would defer to Jackie on that.
Well, we've never had this happen before, so I think we're all in the same boat. So I don't necessarily have an objection if we want to go to comment and just see whether or not any motion would be made.
Okay, I'll, I guess as the authority vested in me as the Public Works Director, will say to Dana, Beth, and Kyla as the Board of Public Works member that it would be my suggestion to open the item back up for discussion and allow Mr. Kinney or Mr. Gold to offer any comment they would like for the board to consider in the appeal to notice of violation 48032 and 48148 for excessive growth at 2611 East Round Hill Lane. At this point in time, I'm just going to unmute Mr. Kinney or Pete Kinney. And if there's any, allow any comment to be made on the appeal of violations.
Can I talk?
Yes, is that Mr. Goal?
Yes, you can talk.
Okay.
So first of all, I would like to know other people who follow this thing, why I have reasons for appeal. And the fact that my reasons in my mind were very valid, and the board decided to not pay attention to the reasons. So the standard text of notice of violation has for that particular line 3 classes of things that could be guilty if height 8 inches or more. So the document, notice of violation, that I got does not identify the class of prohibited plants which are alleged to be on my property. My reading of the ordinances is that only those named classes of plants are prohibited when the plants are more than 8 inches. Without mentioning what class, it's the same thing. It's some codes book with criminal achievements thrown at me and say, hey, go and find which article of that code of violations is applicable to you. That is absolutely wrong attitude. But this is the very bad tradition. People either they do not know hello?
Yes, we could hear you.
It says some mess, be it something
Mr. Gold, we can hear you just fine. We've got some pictures of your lawn that we're displaying.
No, it's not about that. And tell me what the purpose of that thing while we on my first line. What's wrong with those things besides ruler possibly saying that it's above 8 inches? Which class of the printed I violated by allowing for that to grow taller than 8 inches?
Mr. Gold, this is a time for you to offer comment. This isn't a time for questions to staff. We've been through this for many years, and you know that. And
please, this is not funny traditional song. We've been. Okay, we are here now at this juncture in time and place. Okay.
Okay.
I hear
just for the
different.
Mr. Gold, for one moment here, I'm going to mute you for one moment. Daniel and Joe and the staff, could you please go ahead, knowing Mr. Gold was not part of the conversation, was not able to listen to the conversation earlier, could you just state for the record whether or not we feel the lawn, or we feel that the property is in compliance with city code?
Adam, I'll jump in. Per the evidence previously presented in the photographs contained in the packet, the lawn is not in full compliance with the Bloomington Municipal Code.
Okay. Thank you, Daniel. Well, we just had city staff and city legal state that they don't feel that your property is in compliance. I allow you to
again, this is a absolutely vague statement, feeling schmealing, okay? What kind of 3 classes of violation plans I have? I do care about everyone's feeling, but feeling is not a legal term, okay? And that is why my second reason was to have it more or less recorded with sworn statement, and proof must be provided, proof a little bit above the feelings of somebody else. Tell me where I have poison ivy, 12 inch. Okay, that's a violation. So I don't have any of those. You can put ruler every second plant that I let to live because it is not an offending plant. And by the way, I know that you value your opinion more than anybody else, your time. I asked April to put the picture for me. Could you please show the picture?
We have pictures of your lawn, your property.
No. There is only one special picture that I requested. It's not my lawn.
Adam, it's on page 9.
Page 9 of the packet.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes,
Okay.
this one. Okay, let me tell you why I decided to use this one. The address of that property is 2716 East Spicewood Lane, okay? So I had and you recognize this is burning bush. This is invasive thing. And I am very sensitive about invasives. Once I learned that that beauty is invasive, in my driveway, deep under the windows, I decided to take measure. And what do you know? The next notice of violation mentioned this as my violation of city code. Now, I did personally yanked it out, whatever it is. This picture was taken 2 years ago. And all these neighbors, all these inspectors, they drive by every season, pass by this honeysuckle thing on the corner where Spicewood Lane makes a twist, and they do not see. They see in those pictures that you showed in the very beginning next to the ruler as a proof of my violation. They see it. They did not say a word what kind of those were violating, but they are. Is it not special kind of treatment?
Okay, I would just turn it back over to Dana and the board. Would the board like to undertake any additional
I'm
motions
sorry,
on this issue?
last sentence. This is a typical example that big white place or whatever brick furniture place has discrimination against me. They do not see others, but they see allegedly discrimination here. This is absolutely outrageous.
Would the board like to take any further action on this issue, Dana?
Thank you. Were there any other questions or any comments from the board?
No, I don't have a question.
Okay. Do any of the board members want to make a motion or revisit this item?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you for your comments, Mr. Gohl.
And just for the official record, I would just note that the board took action on this item earlier before Mr. Gohl was able to join the call. We reopened the item to offer him the ability to offer his public comment for the item, and the board is choosing not to change any decisions they've made so far. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We're still under petitions and remonstrances. So is there any public comment on anything that's not on the agenda tonight? Now is your opportunity to do so.
And Adam, I think you're still got your screen share up.
Yep.
Let's stop that. There we go. All right. I don't see any public comment or other requests for public comment on anything that's not on the agenda tonight. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to Title VI enforcement.
Sorry, I'm sorry, Dana. There is a hand raised now. It just came in right after Adam finished his scan.
All righty. Do you see that, Adam?
I see it, but I don't see who it's associated.
Oh, okay, I see.
with.
Carol Canfield.
Oh, Carol.
Are you
Okay,
able to
yep.
unmute her?
Yep, there we go. Ms. Canfield, you've been unmuted.
Yes, thank you so much. I just wanted to make a comment about the Lower Cascades road closure, and I've been talking with numerous people, most of whom had no idea that this has even happened. And I just want to say that when people do find out the road is closed, they're very upset about it and they don't want it to continue. And I know that this is a decision that you all will be making in a couple of weeks. And I just want to reiterate that we need the road to be open. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Canfield.
Thank you for your comment. Appreciate it. Okay, next up we have Title VI enforcement. we are hearing the abatement at 2611 East Round Hill Lane.
Thank you. This is Daniel Dixon with the legal department again. Before jumping into this, I do want to ask the board just to incorporate all prior testimony and statements regarding the notices of violation for this address. I would like to incorporate those first because the denial of those notices of violation is sort of a prerequisite for the city's ability to request an abatement. And then that would also avoid duplicating some of the prior testimony as well.
Thank you.
With that, I would like to begin by asking Jo Stong to unmute herself and provide some additional information. And if it's okay, I would like to kind of ask some questions to her to direct her through that.
Would you like me to speak first?
Yeah. And can you go ahead and just identify yourself again?
Yes, I'm Jo Stong. I'm one of the compliance officers for the city of Bloomington.
Okay, and Joe, you've already discussed the notices of violation April 30th and then May 10th. I want you to pick up again following the issuance of those notices of violation, your involvement with the property, the steps that you have taken, and then your observations with regards to the property from those dates till now.
So since that time, I wrote no more tickets. The property has been out of compliance. There's been turf grass and some other things, but primarily turf grass that was over 8 inches tall. That's what I took a picture of. That's what the pictures are of, that with the ruler beside it. I went by there yesterday. Actually, Linda Thompson went by there yesterday. She's the city environmental planner and identified several things that are out of compliance with the city code. That was yesterday, the 24th. We had already, after I wrote the second ticket, we marked that for permission to abate, and it would go to the next meeting, which is today. We take it to the board to ask for permission to enter the property and abate the violations. And that's what's here now.
And I want to ask you a couple of things. You mentioned Linda Thompson did a site visit yesterday, correct?
Yes.
And you discussed with her some of the violations that she observed.
Correct.
You mentioned turf grass in excess of 8 inches. Is that one of the violations she noted?
She did, yes.
And then did she also identify some impermissible plants such as purple winter creeper and honeysuckle that were in excess of 8 inches?
She did, yes.
And those things are in violation of the municipal code, correct?
They are, yes.
And to clarify, you were asking for permission to abate, and is that a continuous abatement request?
Yeah, it would be continuous for the calendar year that started with the first ticket, which would be until April 30th, 2022.
And
so
that
whenever it's,
would that be as needed? If there's if staff goes by and observes that there's a violation, then there could be another abatement done at that time.
right, we'd issue a notice of violation and then we could immediately abate it.
That's all my questions for Ms. Stong. I will defer to the appellant, I'm sorry, to Mr. Gull to make any comments or anything else that he would wish to have. I would ask leave to make any kind of rebuttal after he talks and after there's any questions from the board. Thank you.
Okay, can we unmute Mr. Gull? And Mr. Gull, do you have any comments on this item?
First of all, in my reasons, I put that must be sworn statements. And for an attorney, it's obvious importance of sworn statements, because what I just heard from John Stong was bunch of lies. I wish that my request to have these sworn statements in the whole thing were supported by the people who run this thing. Recorded, that I requested the proof of that thing. There is no anything of invasive above height of 8 inches. That's a lie. But then I'm so accustomed. One day, these people like Linda Thompson, oh, you're so great. You take care of nature. I am a member of World Wildlife Federation, whatever it is. Next day, she turns around. I told him not to do that, you know, and we don't care. Han does not care whether you World Wildlife member or whatever it is. Ah. Its technical problem did not let me make sure that every statement is a sworn statement. That otherwise we're hearing bunch of lies.
I would just add that this follows the official state statute on how to operate and run a Board of Public Works meeting, that we are asking our staff to enter into the official record what they have witnessed. There's an official packet of record that shows all of the information that's been presented. And the meeting is being recorded for the future. So this is being recorded and we are following.
And what is the punishment for people making false statements?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gold. So this has been in accordance with all of the practices required by the state of Indiana. I personally witnessed Ms. Thompson yesterday state that, yes, there is turf grass on this property over 8 inches, that it is outside of compliance with city code, and that's where we're at. For any historians of the Board of Public Works, this is over a decade worth of meetings on this same exact issue. So I'll leave it at that and turn it back over to Dana.
Thanks, Adam. Do we have any other comments from staff on this item?
I just have a question for Ms. Strong. At any time that you're there looking at the property, do you have any conversation with Mr. Gall? I mean, he is saying that he had one conversation with Ms. Thompson and then something else. So I just wonder, do you have any conversations with him when you are on the property, or is this just by observation?
I have had no conversation with him this year.
Okay.
With these violations currently, no.
Good, thank you.
And just for the record, I don't believe Ms. Thompson has had, and Mr. Gold, correct me if I'm wrong here, I don't believe you've talked to Ms. Thompson this calendar year, have you?
I think you need to unmute him, Adam.
I did.
Okay. I was fighting those several remaining blades of grass, always one or two or whatever, definitely not qualifying to use English verb overgrown to the best of my knowledge. And then I hear somebody behind the bushes says hi. So I could not see, I was all sweaty working, whatever. I recognized it was Linda, so I said hi. That was extent. I know it's useless to waste my breath on her. One day she says one thing, another she turns around, and I understand. She has the family. She needs to have insurance for the family.
Thank you, Mr. Gold. Thank you, Mr. Gold.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board? Do we have a motion on this item?
I move that we approve abatement at 2611 East Round Hill Lane, and that will be a continuous abatement.
And I second.
I'll call for a vote. Kyla Cox
Yes.
Deckard. Beth Hollingsworth. Dana Plaza votes yes, motion passes. Next up, we have the consent agenda. On the consent agenda, we have the approval of minutes from the May 11, 2021 meeting. Resolution 2021-16, order to remove unsafe structure at 2412 West 3rd Street. Right-of-way dedication at Miller Showers Park. Resolution 2021-14, public need for right-of-way acquisition for the 17th Street Multimodal Improvements Project. Noise permit request from Oak for a 1-year anniversary party. noise permit request from the Hot Room for free yoga classes on the International Day of Yoga, noise permit request from Rainbow Bakery for a pop-up art market, Resolution 2021-17, renewal of mobile vendor for Great White Smoke Barbecue. We have the agreement with Bloomington Seal Coating and Paving Inc. for seal coating and striping of city-owned parking lot leased to CFC. The supplement number 1 to service agreement with B&L Sheet Metal. Supplement number 1 to service agreement with AMC Construction. Supplement number 1 to outdoor lighting service agreement with Duke Energy for West Howe and North Rogers Street. License agreement with Telco Inc. on 14th and Walnut improvements, and approval of payroll. Is there anything on the consent agenda that any members of the public would like to be removed and moved to new business?
I don't see any chats or any raised hands or any comments on that, Dana. Thank you.
Thank you. Any public comment on anything on the consent agenda?
I do not see any.
Thank you. Do we have a motion on the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
And I second.
I'll call for a vote. Kyla Cox Deckard,
Yes.
Beth Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Dana Palazzo votes yes. Motion passes. Next up is new business. First up is amendment number 1 to the LPA consulting contract with Lockmuller Group for the 17th Street Monroe to Grant Multimodal Improvements Project.
Good evening. This is Neil Coffer. I'm a senior project engineer in the engineering department. This is an amendment for a project that would construct a multi-use path on the north side of 17th Street from Monroe to Grant. It also replaces the traffic signal at the intersection of 17th and Kinzer, and it provides other multimodal safety improvements within that corridor. Lockmuller Group is currently under contract for the design of this project. This addendum adds right-of-way acquisition services, some unexpected design and survey services. It removes some services that were previously thought to be necessary, and then we learned that they weren't. The addendum increases the previous not to exceed amount of $636,115 by $203,630 for a new total not to exceed of $839,745. This contract is TIF funded, so it will also go to the RDC for approval. Staff has reviewed and is supportive of the amendment, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
No, I don't have a question.
Okay. Any public comment on this item?
I don't see anything. No.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the amendment number 1 to LPA consulting contract with Lockmuller Group for the 17th Street Monroe to Grant Multimodal Improvements Project.
And I second.
And I'll call for a vote. Kyla Cox Deckard,
Yes.
Beth Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Dana Plazo votes yes. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have a request from F.A. Wilhelm for the sidewalk closure on South Strong Drive.
Hi, everyone. This is Emily Herr with the engineering department. F.A. Wilhelm Construction is requesting a sidewalk closure on South Strong Drive, south of West Allen Street for 6 weeks to construct a perimeter fence and security gate system adjacent to the sidewalk on private property. The Director of Engineering and Director of Public Works approved the closure to start in advance of the Board of Public Works meeting pending Board of Public Works approval. Construction started on 5/17/2021. The sidewalk closure includes sidewalk close signs on type 3 barricades and construction fencing. The sidewalk closure will allow for an expedited installation of the security fencing and to protect pedestrians in the event of any sidewalk damage due to construction. If any damages are done to the adjacent sidewalk during the fence installation, FA Wilhelm will submit a separate right-of-way use permit application to complete repairs. I'm happy to answer any questions, or Nate Picard with FA Wilhelm is also available.
And I'll jump in real quick. This is Adam Wason again. Just to note that we've been working very closely with FA Wilhelm. Appreciate Jake and the team. Nate and the team at FA Wilhelm, and also the representatives of Catalent working closely with city representatives to not only expedite the project, but work closely with us on some needs and expectations for the project. This is all related to a requirement from the federal government based on the work that Catalent's doing on the COVID-19 vaccine bottling and so staff, obviously found it very important to work with them quickly. So just appreciate everybody's effort, appreciate Wilhelm stepping up and getting signage in place and all of that. And from the representatives of Catalent and all they're doing for literally the world right now. So that's all I'll add.
Thank you. And when is this closure through? Is it July or June?
This will be for 6 weeks from 5/17. So it should end just at the very end of June on June 28th.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions from the board? Any public comment on this item?
I don't see any, and I'm not sure we have any public still on the meeting.
Alrighty. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the request from FA Wilhelm for sidewalk closure on South Strong Drive.
Nice second.
I'll call for a vote. Kyla Cox-Deckard.
Yes.
Beth Hollingsworth.
Yes.
Dana Palazzo, yes. Motion passes. Next up is a request from Messer Construction for the sidewalk closure on North Park Ave between East 9th and East 10th, and from June 1st to June 30th, June 1st, 21 to June 30th, 22.
This is Emily Herr again with engineering. Messer Construction is requesting to close the east sidewalk of North Park Avenue between East 9th and East 10th Streets from 6/1/2021 to 6/30/2022 for renovations to the IU Collins Living Learning Center dorm. The sidewalk closure would be used as the primary access to remove trash from Edmondson Hall within the Collins Living Learning Center. Messer Construction is proposing a sidewalk detour to redirect pedestrians to the west sidewalk of North Park Avenue at the intersections of East 9th and East 10th Streets. The permit would also include reconstructing 930 square feet of sidewalk along North Park Avenue toward the end of the project. A shorter duration sidewalk closure would take place along North Woodlawn Avenue to replace 441 square feet of sidewalk panels, and dates would be coordinated with engineering staff. I'm happy to answer any questions, or Joe Grunsfelder with Messer Construction is also available.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Okay, any public comment? Don't. Thank you. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the request from Messer Construction for sidewalk closure on North Park Avenue between East 9th and East 10th Streets, June 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022.
Nice second.
I'll call for a vote. Kyla Cox-Deckard.
Yes.
Beth Hollingsworth.
Yes.
Dana Plaza votes yes. Motion passes. Thank you. Next up, we have the request from Strasser Construction for the sidewalk closure and right-of-way use at 301 East 19th Street.
Good evening. This is Paul Kerberg with engineering. Strasser Construction Company Inc. is construction of a new building at the northeast corner of East 19th Street and North Lincoln Street. As part of their construction, they're requesting various uses of the right of way. The first one being temporary fencing, and they will install that around June 14th, 2021, and remove that June 14th, 2022. And that will ensure that their site is safe while they construct the building. And then they will also, with this fencing, they'll be closing the sidewalks that are along the property. These are the only sidewalks in the whole neighborhood. They don't connect anywhere, so it should have minimal impact on those. Then they will also have utility connections in both 19th Street and Lincoln Street. And this work is tentatively planned for July or early August. I will work with Brian Strasser to coordinate the exact dates so we know that as it gets closer. And then they'll also be installing new curbs and sidewalks along the property along 19th and Lincoln Streets. This work will be completed around May and June of 2022. Then as they wrap up construction, they'll install new asphalt patching, and that will be around June or July 2022. Are there any questions?
Thank you. So are they replacing the sidewalk or they're adding new sidewalk on top of the existing sidewalk there?
They will be completely replacing it.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Any public comment? Nope.
Seeing none.
Alrighty. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the request from Strouser Construction for sidewalk closure and right-of-way use at 301 East 19th Street, June 2021 through May 2022.
And I second.
And I will call for a vote. Kyla Cox Deckard,
Yes.
Beth Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Dana Plaza votes yes. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Next is staff reports and other business.
Just want to note we've got a retirement coming up this week in Public Works. Want to send a big congratulations to Mark Arnold in the street department. Mark's been with us for, I believe, just over 21 years as a street department employee. So thanks to Mark for his 2 decades plus of service. And Mark's just a good, humble, nice guy that we always enjoy seeing out on projects and everything, always helpful, and just wish Mark the best into retirement. And outside of that, I'll cut my staff report.
Thank you.
Actually, let me jump in real quick and just note if anybody is watching out there in the interwebs that the College Mall Road paving project is well underway thanks to EMB Paving Company. They've been milling surface during the day, putting asphalt back at night. It's been super efficient. They just started on Monday, probably done by the end of the week. So I just want to put that out there. Thanks.
And I was out there today driving, and they were very nice. A woman in a wheelchair was attempting to get through all of that, and they stopped and helped her get across the road. So that was good.
Would expect nothing less of the EMB crew. They've been doing great.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Thank you. All righty. Next up is approval of claims. Were there any questions? Oh, there's Beth. Hi, Beth. Any questions on claims from the board? Any public comment? Seeing and hearing none. Do we have a motion on claims?
I move that we approve claim $616,082.70.
And I second.
And I'll roll call. Kyla Cox Deckard,
Yes.
Beth Hollingsworth,
Yes.
Dana Palazzo, yes. Motion passes. And there's nothing else on our agenda, so I will call for adjournment.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Have a great evening.
Thank you. Have a great night.